Long now has mankind looked up to the skies and wondered if we are alone in this universe. Many miraculous things have been spotted all over the world, reported by our militaries, and sparked great debates amongst ourselves. I am here to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, people of Earth, brothers and sisters of all races, all countries, that we are not alone. We have never been alone. That some higher power has sought to spread the gift of life throughout the universe and beyond all comprehension. It is in these times we must learn to love one another. We must not share hate, but joy. We must not inhibit, but we must grow. These beings are our friends. They are our family. They want to help us become better, to see the true potential of mankind. And for maybe one day, we will join them in their voyage to help other beings from other star systems. As shocking as this news may be, it is nothing new. Our governments of the world have known for quite some time that we are not alone in this universe, and we have had contact for many years, slowly preparing the American public and the publics of the world for such revelation. We are not alone, and we are about to embark on the greatest journey mankind has ever experienced. Ladies and gentlemen, we have contact.
Well,
what is up?
I must admit, I always like that trailer. You did a really good job there. I say that every single live, but honestly, it was a brilliant. Couple of announcements tonight. We're joined by Nubs, none other than himself. Nubs!
Nubs! That's how we got you on here.
I know.
Second announcement tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You won't believe it, but Dakota, it's his birthday today. So will you all wish Dakota in the chat a very happy birthday, you know. The wee boy he's just a wee youngin, you know, so there's some Scottish for you. I thought you were going to mute me because when he starts moving about, I always think he's going to mute me, you know.
Tempting.
Josh, what's that, Josh Hodge? Welcome.
Yeah, Josh Hodge, he's great.
Well, welcome to the show, my friend. We've got some announcements to make. We're getting a new show soon. We can't get into the great detail of this new show, but it will be out soon with a certain people, which will fill you in next week. We also will be moving from Wednesday night to a Sunday night. Isn't that right, Dakota?
Yes, we've had quite a bit of discussion about this, and a lot of the guests we want to try to land are busy people.
Yes.
And plus, it would just be easier to get everybody on a weekend, you know, try to relieve a little bit of stress before we all head back into the work week, you know? So, contact will be moving over to Sundays. So, hopefully, we can get even more engagement. It'll be a good move, no doubt.
Well, I mean, you think about it, the new show that might be on a Thursday, then it'll be a Friday show with the Lost Magic, then the Saturday show, and then the Sunday show. And who knows from there, maybe we will bring more shows. You never know. But we're also going to be working on a certain documentary. Dakota, do you want to tell everyone about this?
Ah, yes. And Nubs, this may be something you might be interested in just to have a little fun, but we are in the thought process of putting together a UFO documentary based on what it's like for contactees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Drew.
We're still looking into all the behind-the-scenes details because we have discussions for some pretty wide distribution, so we want to make sure we play our cards right.
Yeah, because the documentary, I mean, it's going to be quite a significant documentary. I mean, it's got to take quite a lot of work. And plus, I don't know where it'll be broadcast once it's done. Where would it be broadcast? Out of curiosity, Dakota?
Well, that's usually the last step in the process. Actually, finding a distributor for these types of things can be difficult. But we do have two major ones lined up. One is well known for paranormal-based content. The other has a little bit more distribution to where it can help us get to like Vudu, Amazon, Google, all the big ones. So we're trying to see what our best options will be.
I honestly think it'll be something really, really good, and bringing especially the UFO stuff, you know, and especially the people that we will be bringing into the UFO documentary. We can't get into great detail. We can't tell you who it is, but some of them are surrounding us right now, and we can't really go into great detail about that, you know, because it's still getting drawn out. Isn't that right, Dakota?
Yeah, it's still early in the game. Plus, we don't want to give too much. We just don't want to get too much away off the bat. But
competitors out there.
Yeah, we got competitors out there, but we also want to try to make sure everybody who's interested can get in on the action. There'll be opportunities for just about anybody to jump on board if they want to.
Yeah. I would just like to say to the chat before we start our discussion tonight, because we're going to be talking about contactees, and it's an open discussion in the chat, and we will be putting the link into the chat too later on. So I just want to say to the chat, Josh Hodges, welcome. Scottish Outlooker, welcome. Drew's Paranormal Vlog, welcome. Who have we all got here? Right. So that's all it's saying now. Could you please share this out, guys, for us? Share it absolutely everywhere. Because we're trying to grow the channel, as one knows. What's that cute
goth girl gamer? Hello.
Hey, kitten. You know, I do that's my nice voice, you know. So Dakota, would you like to kick off the show by discussing what we were going to discuss?
Hey, Greenie.
All right. So you got to admit, when it comes to UFO research, there's a lot of people who just focus on, there's something weird in the sky, or maybe the reports of UFOs. There's not a lot of research that goes into the people that say they're in contact with these entities.
Yes. Now,
naturally, we have to take some assumption that we all assume that they might be crazy, which we can't ever rule that out. But you have to admit, the recent events within the last couple of years, especially, things are amping up to where every party that you would expect to be skeptical about this type of stuff are having to go, what's going on?
I mean, I don't know. What do you think about it, Nubs? What do you think about the UFO phenomenon? There you go. I said that actually right this time.
I think that in the past few years, especially the past year and a half, there have been more sightings and more people getting contacting UFOs and all that. It's. I personally believe that in the next couple months, there's going to be not an invasion, because I don't think they're going to invade us, but it's going to be a huge, pretty much they're going to let everybody know they're here.
Yes. Yes. That is the main thought. That's what's going along a lot of the bigger channels, like Elena's channel, like you, Dakota, could you fill us in on that?
Yes. I've been watching some of Elena Denan's videos. She was a guest on here. We're definitely going to try to get her back because she has so much incredible info, and I do know that she is working on another one of her books, which I am excited for.
Nice.
Basically, for those of you who don't know, she is someone who has direct contact with a society known as the Galactic Federation of Worlds.
Yes.
And naturally, like I said, you would think that someone who says they have such a contact, especially when you read her books, they're trying to weave together a really interesting story. But the thing is, with Elena's work, a lot of what she says is coming true.
See, there's an interesting question, right? There's an interesting question there, right? The Chess King, right? I've got a theory on this, but when you go, Dakota, what's your thoughts on this?
Okay, how would they be a cover-up exactly?
See, right, I'll tell while he puts it, why would they put a cover up, right? This is what I think happened to the dinosaurs. You've got to remember, how long has humans been on the Earth for? Hypothetically. What they say, obviously we're a lot older than what they talk about. But if we're to do this right, if we were to do this, say how the academics say it, right? How long has humans been on the Earth for? Since we were like monkeys and stuff. How long would you, 300,000 years? Round about that?
Longer than that.
400,000? Longer, right. I'm going back to the, right. Let's look at this, right. We'll say that the human's been on the Earth for, we'll say a mad theory here. We'll say we've been on the Earth for how long, Dakota?
Hold on. I don't want to.
Let's see.
We're gonna do a quick. We're gonna do a little Google search. I want to make sure we get this right. The first of. Okay, here's just a little tidbit. It's the first thing that popped up from Wikipedia. The earliest traces of modern humans, okay, is 4 billion years ago. The earliest traces we found. 4 billion. Okay? And by the way, Chess King, dinosaurs were real, but if you actually look at some of the disclosure documents, the aliens have been around for that long and may have had a hand in their extinction. There's actually a lot of information that may back that up.
That's what I was going to say before that, right? The dinosaurs were around for millions and millions and millions and millions of years, right? Think about it. Do you not think some of them maybe were advanced? Some of them were intelligent. I mean, you think about the reptilian aliens that have been known to visit people. What happens if that's like an offspring for them? And maybe there was a war of some kind and it wiped out this planet.
Well,
and we come back.
Here's another thing that a lot of people ignore. They say that if the dinosaurs managed to survive, chances are they would actually evolve a humanoid shape.
Right.
To what we would know the stereotypical reptilian looks like.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a possibility, yes. But it's not necessarily that there's cover-ups. There's legitimately things that we don't know. They're saying that there's civilizations out of Antarctica. There was a time when Antarctica was all jungle and everything's frozen over. Now that everything's melting off, we're going to find some stuff.
You've got to think about this too, right? And a lot of people think this is all hop, cop, load of rubbish and all that. But I do believe in it. I think there is an inner Earth. I think there's something below the Earth. I think there's something that's been hidden for. I wouldn't say it's like Godzilla versus Kong or something like that. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. But I do think there is secret things buried below our feet, maybe miles down, right? And I think there is bases, massive bases, and I think they were there before we were there. And I think a lot of stuff's getting discovered now. I mean, you think about Antarctica, people are like, Antarctica, there's an ice wall and there's a firmament, you can't get to space and stuff like that. Flat earthers, right? But you got to remember, guys, that Antarctica was a jungle at one point. And there's actually saying there it's actually starting to thaw out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's actually people have actually come out and said that there's actually green patches starting to appear in Antarctica. I mean, how long before all of that melts and shows like ancient buildings and ancient ruins that could be there?
Well, there were dinosaur fossils found on Antarctica. There's talks of pyramid-like structures.
That's right.
And that's the thing. You say how long truth is, a lot of the thawing out that's going on is moving a lot faster than a lot of people realize.
Well, right. This is where people come into the global warming stuff and that, and the pollution and stuff. Right. I think the pollution is out of order. Right. The pollution in this world is totally out of order. There's too much plastic in the seas. We're eating it. It's everywhere. Right. It's causing cancers. We know that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But what people don't realise, they're saying, oh, it's because of pollution and that, and the atmosphere's warming up, and we'll have to cut our greenhouse gases. I don't think it is, guys. I mean, you think about it, right? Mars is warming up right now, too. So if that was the case, how's our ozone layer affecting Mars and other planets? And Jupiter's warming up. It's been proven that this Earth goes through cycles. And 1,000 years from now, Britain could be a desert, and the United States could be like covered in snow constantly. I mean, just look at it this year. I mean, Scotland's had one of its warmest winters on record, right? Where America has had one of its coldest on records. I think we're going through a cycle, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Well, here's a lot of things you have to consider when it comes to the whole cycle theory. Just like the human body, planetary structures have cycles they go through in their lifespans. You can find it in some of the biggest structures out there down to the smallest atoms. There are cycles.
Yes.
But just like the human body, there's certain things with stress and things that maybe shouldn't be in the system in the first place that are harmful to it that can affect how those cycles move.
Yes.
So yes, there's a natural cycle, but global warming may be adding to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I totally agree, 100%. Like, right, let's take the Gulf Stream. It flows past round America, round Mexico, round Argentina, then it flows up towards Britain, right? See, Antarctica is melting. It's melting at an unreal rate, right? Now, what's going to happen there is that fresh water is going to mix with the salt water, right? And it's going to actually change the course of the Gulf Stream. See if that happens. Britain will turn into basically a desert, and America will turn into the new North Pole, basically.
Oh, great. I already hate the cold.
I mean, there you go. There you go.
Hey, Jack.
It's going to happen. Hey, Northern Monkeys, just like to say hey to Northern Monkeys in there and Paranormal World investigators. But this is what's going to happen. I mean, I will admit. I mean, did you know? And this has got nothing to do with the supernatural whatsoever. But did you know that there's a garbage island the size of Texas in the Pacific?
There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they say it's about a foot deep, the size of Texas, and it's mostly plastic bottles. I can't get away with this stuff, and I don't know how this has been allowed to happen, but Britain and America, they recycle all their plastics, right? They send them to China, right? And then China says, oh, I'll pay you for that. I don't know how they do this. So they take all the plastics, right? They get paid to take the plastics. Then they put the plastics in a ship, right? And then they sail into the middle of the Pacific and dump them.
Yeah. That's a good question, Chef King. What language would alien use? Would it be verbal like dolphin where we struggle to decode, or would it be telepathically?
Would aliens use?
It would really depend on the civilization.
No. It depends how advanced they are. It depends
on so many different things. Chances are they're going to have their own language.
That's true.
There is proof from CIA documents that psychic abilities are real. So telepathy is not out of the question. And from that, it stimulates the mind into actually registering the words it wants to relay to the recipient.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the circumstances. It's not just going to be one set language. They may have a universal language they use for interspecies communication. They've had time to develop that, but they're also going to have their own native tongues.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
Actually, I got pictures that I need to show y'all from one of the investigations I did the other day.
Yeah.
It was writing all over the wall. It looked like some type of alien writing, but somebody said it could be witch writing. I will find the pictures and I will send it to y'all later.
Please do.
Because I meant to say something to y'all before, but I forgot all about it. And I'm like, if anybody could figure it out, it would probably be y'all.
I mean, do you like, here's a question for Dakota and everybody in the chat. Do you, Dakota, think we are the only intelligent species on this planet?
On this planet?
On this planet.
Really depends on how you define intelligence. The
intelligence is an understanding to your fellow entity. An understanding is, in a sense, you work together. An understanding, not with technology, but just an understanding is you work together. Because it's improving that I couldn't help it because somebody mentioned it in the chat.
Well, you have to consider, what was that? The civilization criteria scale, what was that called?
Yeah.
Basically, it's the level of development a society has.
Yeah.
Basically, the highest ones, they're a society that could essentially be like gods. Their technology makes it to where they can live on the outer rims of black holes and be okay. There's a reason why humans on this planet don't even make it to spot one.
No, because we're violent. It's because we're violent and we like to go to war with each other and we like to pollute and we like to kill each other. But what I'm talking about is, I think there's right, I'm going to talk about this, right? See dolphins, right? And it's been proven that dolphins in Wales are highly intelligent.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. Now, see below the sea, guys, and a lot of people think this is mad, but see below the sea, there's actually, see a lot of these UFOs and stuff like that have come out of the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you wonder, is there a break-off from the human society, or is it a break-off of some other species from Earth that's living under the sea? What's that in the chat? No, there is loads of intelligent life on the planet. Yeah, exactly. Northern monkeys.
It's like exactly. I said, it really depends on how you look at it.
Well, you think about it, right? We'll go back 10,000 years, right, or 20,000 years, and you'll have man lighting a fire, sitting in a cave with his wee spear, running about and stuff like that, right? That's intelligent. That's classed as intelligent because he's making a fire, he's going out, killing a meal, bringing it back, cooking it and giving it to everybody else, right? I know dolphins don't do that, right? But they're highly intelligent. I mean, did you know that in World War II, right, the government actually strapped bombs onto the side of dolphins to try and train them to swim towards enemy ships? I mean, how sick can you be? And later on, the US military have actually tried putting sensors in their brains, trying to basically be spies for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've had several attempts at utilizing animals in warfare, and almost none of them worked.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. But what's your thoughts, Dakota, right now on alien beings on the Earth right now? I'm not talking ones for space. I'm talking about ones from the Earth that have been here long before we have.
There's likely quite a few, actually.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about the Men in Black? I personally think that they're aliens.
I've heard that too.
Some of the original ones were aliens, but we did try to copy their methods, and we were successful in a lot of them.
Okay, so a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are actually humans, but the original Men in Black were aliens.
They were part reptilian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of figured something, because just the way, because they take off their glasses and they have these weird eyes. And
what I've learned for the Men in Black is they're no nice. They're no like the people that have got to save Earth in the film with Will Smith. right? They're no here for that. They're no here to save you. They're no here to that. They're here to bend the rules for. I think personally they work for a lot of the greys and a lot of the eviler entities on the earth. What's your thoughts, Dakota?
Oh no, they do. It was a classic camouflage method for them to be able to suppress witnesses.
Yeah.
And they figured if word got out, if they started shooting people, which Men in Black have been known for, people would be too scared to operate. But one thing I find funny is that you have some of these reports that they get nervous the second someone would try to walk to their microwaves, because apparently if you turned on the microwave when they're around, so hint, to give this a try and maybe die if it doesn't work. Try to get to your microwave if you think you got Men in Black around and they'll run off.
I
noticed that cell phones run off. No, I just find it funny that as cell phones became more popular, especially with the recent rollouts of 5G, and cell phones use microwave radiation, we don't really have any new reports on Men in Black.
It's actually a good point, that. You think about it. You think about when UFOs were off the scale, right? And then they brought out cell phones. What happens if cell phones is a cover? Yes, it's a money-making tool, and yes, it's a good thing and all that, but it's not really a good thing if you know what I'm saying. But what happens if they're using the networks, all these transmitters, right, to put out like a frequency that makes the average person not notice aliens?
Wouldn't take much.
I mean, what's the film? What's the film where the guy puts the sun specs on and you can see the aliens? What is it? What's the film, guys in the chat? What's the film where the guy puts on the, what do you call it, the sun specs, and he's walking about with a gun shooting all the aliens, and he says, "I'm all out of bubble gum" when he walks into the bank?
No, that's Men in Black.
I can see. What's it called? It's got. It's these sun specs, and they make you see the aliens and the way everything is. But what happens if that's the cell companies, right? What happens if the cell companies are also putting out a unique tone that's maybe camouflaging these ships that you can't see?
It is possible to do that, but it also, another film that should come to mind is the movie Cell, based on the Stephen King novel. Where basically certain frequencies start going out to everybody's cell phone and making them turn into murderous hive mind things.
Yeah.
It does not take much. In fact, I do believe certain tones are trying to be utilized for medical uses nowadays.
There's certain tones that have been used for crowd control. They can actually, they make you. They used to use water cannons or tear gas, and now they can just point this thing at you and turn it on, and it makes you constantly throw up and feel like you're going to faint over and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's called Britney Spears songs. No, I'm serious. That's a legitimate method for deterring some ship companies use to deter pirates.
I thought you were going to blame Justin.
No, I'm being serious. There's certain ship companies, in order to deter pirates, they blared Britney Spears.
That's
a legit thing.
That's chemical warfare right there, baby.
As we were talking about like contactees, right? Let's jump back to the contactees. Do you think that as a lot of people, especially in the internet community, in the UFO community, that have jumped onto the bandwagon to say, "Oh, the aliens are coming, they're taking me away at night," and "Oh, this, that, and the next thing," but they're just making it up?
I think some of them are.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people just love to make up stuff like that just to get attention and all that. Like,
yeah.
I've seen, the closest thing I've seen, it was like an oval shape, and it was like going this way, and then it started going backwards, and then side to side, and then when I wanted to go take a video of it, it was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was oval shape. It could have been a drone, but it's still.
Do you find it fascinating that every time you go to take a picture of a UFO, right, something happens to your phone?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's on. It doesn't matter if it's on flight mode, right, and it's not getting a signal. I seen one, and I thought, right, that's it. Get my phone out, like that, and my phone started to flicker as if there was something wrong with it. It's as if it's designed. It's like there's a frequency that they're putting out that's just.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this because this does kind of contribute to it. There's a gentleman who I've been trying to get on here to talk about some of his experience. He's disclosed to me.
Mm-hmm.
He lives out towards Arizona. He's had several levels of contact where he sees what look like tall whites. Some stuff that legitimately scared him, and I was able to talk him down. I was like, yeah, these things are happening. But as I was trying to get him to come on tonight, my phone started glitching out, and I was just trying to send a quick text message.
Yeah.
That's it.
See, this is the problem. I think, right, we're using these highly advanced pieces of equipment, right? The phones, the cameras, and stuff like that. But I think there's something built into them that recognises things like this, and it makes it just take a terrible picture. And do you know that? I think it does. I think it's designed, and whoever's making this, you know, what's that? Granny Page, the moon. Yeah, right, the moon, Dakota. Now that's an interesting one. What's your thoughts? And this is for you, Nubs. What's your thoughts on the moon?
I think that the moon is a base for aliens.
What's your thoughts, Dakota?
It's been speculated that at least 12 different civilizations are currently conducting operations on the moon, and the Nazis actually had plans to try to set a base up there, but then, because, yes, they were really big into the occult, they were really big into the UFOs, something stopped them.
Yeah.
They were wanting to go on the moon, they were trying to set something up on Mars. You gotta admit, the old school Nazis are actually genius level, and it's fascinating study. Not these assholes nowadays.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I mean, the moon, to me, the moon's just
they live.
Strange. They live, that's that, thank you.
Yeah, monitoring the D-Live chat because it doesn't pop up in here.
Right. The moon, I think the moon is know what it is. I don't think. Do you know there's actually scraps, right? And this is an actual fact. There's There's a guy that comes in here, and his name is James Ramsey. Sometimes he talks about this, and there's actually scraps you can look up to, like maybe 1,000 years ago. The moon didn't exist in the night sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one day it just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's a few different civilizations that have a similar story where a few thousand years ago their ancestors told that one day it just showed up.
Yeah, it just showed up. And which made me interested is when they said they were on the moon, right, and they crashed the lander into the moon, you know, for a test.
It rang like a bell.
It rang like a bell as if the moon was hollow.
Mm.
I mean, the UFO sightings are off the scale on the moon. I mean, I know the government terrible for trying to cover it up, but the UFO sightings on the moon are total. Anybody can do it. See if you've got a good telescope. I know personal friends that do like photography of the moon, and they've seen the little ships going across the surface of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And then people will be like, "Oh, it's maybe a satellite." No. It's not a satellite. It can't be a satellite because that's so far away. If that had to come close to you, it'd be huge. It'd be the size of a town. I mean. They don't realise there's something more happening in the moon. Do you want to drop the link, Dakota, into the chat, and we'll see if any of you want to come in, guys, and discuss what your thoughts are on.
What do you
we have
here? Because
we have Dr. Firefly on our D-Live chat. He makes a good point that the moon, Venus, and Saturn are all point to frequency high interest when it comes to UFOs. We have Titan that speculated to. They say it has all the basic building ingredients of life on there. In fact, humans, all we would need is something to combat the cold, and we could survive up there just fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting things going out there about that.
Well, I watched a thing tonight, NASA. Let's talk about NASA for a second or two while we invite people in. I mean, they're going on now about how they might have found life on Mars. Look, they've known about the life on Mars for, and you know, it's no the song. You can, I mean, they've known about life on that planet for a long time. Something happened to that planet a long time ago. I mean, I think they've had some type of war on that planet because the radiation's off the scale. I do think there was a life on Mars and then it's came to Earth. Something has happened there. Or maybe we were there too. Maybe we were an intergalactic spacefaring race at that time and there was a terrible war. And maybe we're what's left, the survivors, you know?
Yeah,
this is the thing.
That's actually one of the biggest theories out there is that there was one time where Mars may have been a lot like the Earth. Because when it comes to a lot of the criteria for being able to harbor life, they consider it the Goldilocks zone, where the conditions are not too hot, not too cold.
Right.
They're sustainable enough to hold life a lot like ours.
That's
Mars is at just like the very edge of it.
Yes.
Ooh.
But a lot of the speculation that something happened.
Is
And
there no... When you go to Dakota, sorry?
no, I was just going to say, there's one of those more exotic theories that say if we are descendants of Martians, basically they got out there, they say, oh, this planet, this is good, we can live here. We came here, we may be repeating the same history that caused Mars to look like it does now.
I mean, is there no meant to be... What is it, Phobos? That goes round about the moon? I mean, Mars. Is it Phobos?
Phobos and Deimos.
What's the one that's meant to have the thing on it? That's meant to have some type of thing. There's meant to be an alien artifact. Is it one? It's one of the moons on Mars that's meant to have this pyramid or something on it. What is it? Yeah, did you know about that? Really enough.
This is the first time hearing about it.
There's meant to be a moon. Help us out in the chat, guys. What's the moon? There's meant to be some type of artifact that's on one of the...
Oh, it's one of the monoliths.
Yeah, it's meant to be on top of... It's in one of the moons. I don't think it's on Mars. I was watching...
It's on Phobos. I'm looking at it right now.
Right, there you go.
Hmm.
So that makes you wonder, you know, what is it?
Well, a lot of the argument about it is that with Phobos, there's no weather pattern on it. So it couldn't be caused by normal erosion.
Hey, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
Hello, Sherry.
Oh. How
So
are
what's
you?
what's your thoughts? What's that?
I said happy birthday to Dakota.
Oh, thank you.
He's 5.
Okay.
I did
We get these nappies soon.
this morning. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah, I saw it, but y'all were messaging me when I was at work, so...
But here, Sherry, what's your thoughts on Mars and what happened there millions of years ago? Do you think something happened, like a nuclear war or a great war that destroyed a civilization?
I believe that I believe that there were civilizations that were maybe took form on these places, and things happened where they would have had to flee, or some of them would have lost their lives.
Yeah.
So they reside in other places that could be here on Earth or up there.
Yeah.
It's wherever they decided to flee to. I do believe also that the water is a big significant part of alien, and I believe that aliens do reside underneath water when they're here to an extent.
Yeah.
With the moon and with Mars and with all of those, they're meant to be very known levels of high spiritual energy, aren't they? Like these sort of, if you think about it, as a witch, we follow these sort of things. We follow the symbolization of
at the same time as you
and countries, and in them in all around the world, we all represent and we all follow different religions, and a lot of that brings in the planets and a higher power that they're supposed to give off. And I do believe that even though we're affected here on Earth, it's affected up there as well. And I believe that we're more connected than what you think. Like some people were saying in the room, we're already alien. That's very true, we are.
Yeah.
But some of us are spiritually more connected to alien than you know. There are people that can communicate, talk, channel, and do things with aliens. I am one. I have been getting visions, been getting symbols, been getting lots of things from them, and speak to them, can speak their language. But when you go back trying to understand what they're saying, it don't always make sense.
It's
There's
all
another one I should send that picture to where I went in that house and had all these weird symbols on and see if she can figure that out too.
It's probably satanic writing. It's maybe satanic writing.
It could be.
Let's not jump to conclusions here.
I'm telling you, that's my brain, psychic waves.
I would probably be able to tell if they resemble any of the symbols that I see from the alien side, or if it is to do with the witchcraft side, because I do both. So
okay, I'll send it to you on Twitter. I think I got you on Twitter.
Just like to welcome some people into the chat. Who have we got there, Dakota?
Oh, we have Chesky and Dr. Firefly, who's joining us from our D-Live stream.
Welcome.
Hello, guys.
Hello, all.
I'm the alien of the group.
So, I'm really interested. I'm really
spaceship's
interested.
coming back for.
Really interesting. Where do you guys think that aliens come from? Because I have my own theory. Again, it's purely just in my head, but I'm very interested. Like, are they humanoid? Are they? Like, I don't want to push. I just want to listen. I just actually kind of want to know. And I might have a couple other questions because I'm really interested, especially how there's some really interesting paths. So.
Right, the aliens. My opinion is there's thousands of different races. Right.
Yeah.
There's thousands and thousands of different races in this galaxy. Right. And yes, there's human. There's meant to be 24 different types of human in this second sector of the galaxy. Right. But then there's the genetic ones. There's the greys. Right, which are like robotically controlled by like the higher ups. Right, then you've got the Palladians, then you've got the Reptilians, and you have got a multiple. There's thousands. Dakota actually knows quite a lot about this, so I'll hand you over to Dakota.
Actually, I was just pulling this out real quick. You want to find some good reading material on what's out there, you want to try to get a hold of this book. It's Get from the Stars, Extraterrestrial Context and Guide of Alien Races. It's by Elena Denon. She's good friend of ours. We've done a few shows with her, and there's a lot of interesting detail on where a lot of them come from. We have a bunch from the Scorpio system. We have the Pleiades. There's like 5 different versions. Lyrans.
Hey,
they're coming from all over.
And it's also true what Stuart McDonald says, interdimensional.
Yeah.
Interdimensional.
Yeah, it even gives, towards the end of the book, it actually gives a nice little map of where they're all from. So if you want to look towards certain stars.
I'm not being funny, but with like what Chris said, with the alien species, I believe that they come from many places. I believe that they're interdimensional. I believe that they are of a spirit form as well. You've got ones that look like spirit, but they're not. In reality, our planet is meant to come from a star system. Okay, we come from a star system apparently. So we are part of a universe, we are a part of a world and a place that is fully open and huge, and we do not even get to see half of that. And I believe through being made, we've all been made to be individually different and to look individually different and to act individually different. I believe that some of the species that we see here today are clones. They are ones that are made to continue the work of those that may be up there still waiting. There's a lot of reasons to what I think that aliens are, but I do believe that they all come from different walks of life. They're all here for different reasons. And I believe they're also all formed for different reasons as well, just as we are. We're all individually different. We all do individually different things, and it's no different for them.
Dakota?
No, she's on the money.
Nope.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
I'm always on the money. Come on, not literally getting money, but I'm on it.
I know you're on the money, Sherry.
Okay, so then I'm interested in you guys' theory. So where did we come from? How did we? Are we? Because there's lots of different theories depending on if you're spiritual, if you're scientific, if you're alien believer. I'm just how did we appear on terra firma? Like, how
I
did we get on
believe
Earth?
that a lot of us were formed in a. Would you say, like I said to you, that we're all from a universe,
Yeah.
from a galaxy, and that? Now it's all said down here that the whole world and the whole galaxy was formed by grains of sand, grains of material that would build us. So I believe that ourselves and them, in like their different planets, their different realms, their different ways, we was all formed for like different individual things. So I believe that we all started off from a very minute, fragile element that formed us to become something a lot bigger.
I don't think we were originally from this Earth. We're no originally
No, that's
from
what I'm saying. We're from a galaxy,
I think somebody's maybe tinkered with our DNA, to be purely honest with you, right?
Yeah, that as well.
I don't think we're from this galaxy. I think there's the stories in the grapevine goes that from the extraterrestrials that have had contact with us, we're not really from this galaxy. We're from a different galaxy, and we've been brought here. And I think you've got to remember, I think we've been fiddled with. Like, let's face it this way: we've been genetically modified.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's. I think the only way we'll ever find that out is if we actually meet someone, you know. What's your thoughts on it, Dakota? Because Dakota's.
I'm back.
Humans are. What's your thoughts, Dakota? Where did humanity come from originally? Obviously, what do you think?
Well, the main course of action does seem like there was life already starting to form here. Then
yes.
ETs happened to come across it. They realized they had the technology and started using this planet as their own genetic petri dish. There was already materials here. In fact, some theories out there say that if you have O-negative blood, you might actually be a descendant of the Anunnaki and are more likely to be abducted.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another one of the theories that's in Elena's book.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Pretty sure
that is.
So here, let me break down my theory because you guys cover it very interesting, and I'm just curious what you guys' take on this. So I think that most things, trees, plants, a bulk of the animals are native to this planet. I believe that throughout multiple times, aliens have come and seeded different things. I think that's the reason why we see why in science we see these different explosions and then these extinctions. Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing is genetic testing going on and occurring. So we're combining that. We also have the biblical stories, which are also just lessons to explain science that is not able to be understood by the average person, and just kind of tell it in like a fable. And so the reason I think, because, with humans, we can accept pig parts. We can also have very similar DNA to things like different types of primates. But then there is certain things that are primates and some of the other mammals that exist that we actually can't consume. And so my theory is that we are completely made. We don't come from any place else. Now, I will have a caveat. We might have came from Venus. Venus might have been the test place for bringing DNA up so that they had a clean environment. That's why currently there's a cloud around Venus and we can't send anything down there because they don't want us to see some of the technology that they throw to the wayside. But going back, I think that we are the aliens of this planet. And we are also genetically created to live on this planet.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of people, like, for example, myself, I will never, ever go into space. I have no desire. It sounds horrible. But I also have friends that talk about wanting to go to Mars and wanting to go to the moon. When I think of that, it just makes me – it actually makes me extremely just nervous inside thinking about leaving the planet. So,
but we have to leave the planet one day. We have to, because eventually we're going to get that high. It might be another 1,000 years from now when we're highly advanced. We are going to have to make that step. We're going to have to make that. It starts sounding like Star Trek here. We're going to have to go out and build new homes. We're going to have to go to planet because we can't. I know this is going to sound strange. We can't stay in one place, right? I'm starting to turn into Elon Musk, right? We cannot stay in one place.
So,
right?
so you're saying that we're going to reach a pinnacle, and we're not going to revert. Yeah, I think that humans have been far more advanced than we currently are, and I think.
Well, yeah, we probably have.
And then or some outside celestial or the sun or our atmosphere knocks us back down, and we never can reach that particular stage. Now, there might be some people, we might actually be able to send small colonies, but as a mass of people, I don't think that, I think that nature knows how to balance. Nature is always spectacular balancing. And so
I see your point.
I mean, touching on what you just said there is, I believe that as human beings, we're only allowed to get to a certain intellect. Once we get past that, and once we start seeing things through the smoke screen and seeing what's happening, I think that's when the great reset happens. And I think this may occur like at the stage we're at now, when we're advanced and they don't want us going any further than we already are, kind of thing. And this is when either depopulation or whatever you want to call it starts to happen. I don't know.
So that's actually a really good point.
Go ahead, sorry, Chris.
No, when you go.
No, so Chess King, I'm interested with you saying that, we're seeing a slowly depopulation of the planet. If you look throughout every country right now in 2022, we're seeing that the birth rate is actually severely dropping. We're seeing the ionosphere around Earth, and we're seeing the sun start doing things of signs of micronovaing. We're seeing the shifts of the poles, and we're seeing crazy electromagnetic areas pop up, very similar to the Bermuda Triangle and such like that, especially in the Indian Ocean, where the possible pole shift's going to happen. So, could we have got to this particular point now that we're recognizing, that other species could exist? Could we actually be on the precipice of that time?
Well, I think we can, and I think that's where we're at, really. I mean, if you look back, these sightings have increased over, I'd say, the last 5 to 10 years, and I noticed what was happening is people were going on about chemtrails, thinking that the government are just releasing chemtrails to poison the population, but I seen it a different picture. I seen it, they were causing some kind of dullness in the sky, so we couldn't see into the clear blue skies that we once used to see. And I'll tell you this story. About 4 or 5 summers ago, my brother woke me up and said, come on, have a look at this. I said, it better be interesting, to wake me up at this time. Anyway, the window that he had open was basically on an extension roof, and we could see above the houses, clear blue sky. And I seen these lights, and they looked like my picture, basically just like my picture, and they were basically forming into each other. It looked like they were breeding, like flies. You know when flies go on top of each other? Well, these orbs were doing that, and it looked like you could actually even see them breeding. And it just makes me think, are we subconsciously already there? People are more wide, open. They don't laugh when you talk about aliens now. I reckon 50% of the population believe it. So I think we're there. Is that the reason why they would want to depopulate? Because of that? I don't think just because of that, no. I think it's probably because the humans, they just want to keep us dumbed down for so long, and once we know, it's like game over kind of thing.
I think that this is my opinion. I'll hand you over to Dakota. I mean, this is my opinion, right? Humans, what do we do best? We kill each other, right? Let's face it, that's what we do. We consume. We take over land. We take the oil. We take the lithium. That's what we do. If we get into space, which is going to happen, right? We're going to go for asteroids. We're going to start mining them, and then they're going to run out of them, right? And then we're going to say, oh, look at that planet over there. Let's go over there. And we'll go to that planet, and then we'll resource that planet, and we'll grow, and we'll grow, and we'll grow. And I think that's what the alien life out there know this. And I think we've done this before, to be truthful with you, right? I think we've done this before, and I think they're afraid that it's got to go down the same road. When you go?
Mhm.
Well, like I said before, a lot of the theories out there, let's take Mars as an example, is that at one point it was a lush green planet, but then something happened. Possibly war, who knows? There's plenty of signs that some sort of nuclear activity took place. And to this day, we have a lot of reports saying that there may be underground civilizations. There's still life up there, it's just they went underground in order to sustain themselves. Now, obviously, take that with a grain of salt, but we look at all these companies that are trying to launch people, make space travel more accessible. With, say, like Elon Musk, considering some of his rockets blowing up success. They're trying to make there's a short window in order to be able to pull off a launch successfully without basically blowing up. They're trying to extend this window, make it so these rockets can survive a multitude of different conditions, so that way they can just launch at any time. And we're also building what they're calling arcs that are supposed to. They're so far a lot of the ones that we have now are failing, but to just try to retain as much of human life as plant life we have on Earth now in the event of a major cataclysm. So we may already be in the end game.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question. Do you think that aliens can possess a human body? Dakota, you already know where I'm going with this from my live stream that one time.
Of course.
We've had it happen on this show a couple of times.
Okay. But
we know that alien can take over a human body, and we know that alien can use a human body to communicate.
Can it be, is it more dangerous
like
than when the spirit possesses the body?
It's dangerous either way, spirit or alien, depending on what it is. Obviously, with alien, they're more of a living form than what a spirit form is. So, yeah, there could be a lot more of a category of danger having them come into you, being physically still here. But the fact is that it's dangerous if you channel a spirit or if you channel an alien. The fact is that you've got to be open, you've got to be understanding of it, and you've got to be willing. Because if you're not and you don't understand these things,
you have to be willing.
It could end your life sometimes if you don't do it the right way and know what you're doing.
Can I ask you, I don't know what the difference between an alien and a spirit is. To me, they seem like they're both a foreign object. They're not human, so to me, they're one and the same. So can I get a little bit better description of what you're referring to? So I am a practicing, I used to be a practicing witch, so I can tell you all about the spirit realm, but the alien spirit realm, saying that a alien can come into your body is where I'm confused. So I'd like if I get some clarification, that would be awesome.
Let's just say that a lot of the mechanics behind spirit, possession, temperature fluctuations, all that, everything you would recognize as spiritual activity, it can happen with ETs as well.
Yeah.
That's the short answer. I did a film on this. It's on Paraflix called Bonds of Beyond that it tries to explore this. Because technically, when you bring in the extra-dimensional argument, everything we know as gods, angels, demons, technically they can be considered aliens under that broad umbrella. So, being that how they have a lot of the same properties, there have been incidents, and there's episodes here on this channel, and as well as other ones where we've all gotten together where we've had people almost lose their lives because of ET interference. Or what we believe to be, I should say. Just in case we're wrong.
Some alien entities can be entwined in the spiritual realm to do with spirit as well. Me, Dakota, and a few guys from a previous company know that very well. And the thing is when you say what is the difference between an alien and a spirit? Well, let's be honest, like spirits, they're either of something that has not lived, in some cases, so they would be known as things maybe like ghosts and stuff like that. Then you've got your spirits, which are your human, they're human, They are us, but in a spiritual form. We've still got an energy. We've still got a existence. We can still do things, and it's no different for the alien either. Like, aliens are very different to us, even though some of us if we see them in form, they look like a spiritual form. They do. Like, when my one come to me at first, it looked like a spirit form, okay, but you could tell it wasn't a spirit, it was an alien. And it's here.
Oh, we lost him.
Very rare.
No, I'll put them back in.
It is very rare. It is very rare to see them show in their true form, which is in their true body. They will show in a way that you will not be able to see them unless they want you to see them. And like Dakota says, they do. They will use the same energy as a spirit. They will give off the same sort of feelings and that as a spirit sometimes. Yeah. You know.
Especially I'm not going to talk about what happens to me, but the one that I've encountered, how can I say this? He can travel anywhere he wants, right? And he can travel to any realm, and he's met spirits, but he's so old, he's like billions of years old, and Dakota's in the same boat here, and so is Sherry. They've met his friends. I'll just put them that way. I'm not going to get there.
It's not just that, though, but if you think about it, like, we do all of this communication and we do all of this sort of stuff, and I can understand why people would get confused about it as well. Like, obviously, obviously, it is different when you communicate with them and you communicate with spirit. Even though there's a lot of similarity, there are things that are different in both of them that tell them apart. It's a difficult one to try and explain, but all I can say is that a lot of them do show in a spiritual form, but they're not dead.
So for clarification, what we're talking, so a spirit is something that used to be human or has human tendencies, and a spirit alien doesn't have the human like the reason I ask is, like, where would you fall something like the Fae? Where would they fall? Like, because
the Fae would be an alien form.
Okay, cool.
They are both. Like, when you look at them, they look very human-like, don't they? But they're very tiny and stuff like that.
Okay.
But they have got the form of an alien because they can use such things as magic and being able to move into other dimensions. So they are both, okay? And I'm not saying that you can't have that here on this plane. That is why there are such things as people that are spiritual. We see from both sides of the world. We see from the living side, which is here, and we see from the spiritual side, which is over there. If that is alien or spirit or whatever it is, we see from another dimension. Not everybody that is here on this plane and on this earth is human. We come from other places. And we are here for reasons and to learn and to teach. That's what I believe.
Interesting. Okay.
Dakota, would you like to
carry on?
Dakota's, I think we need to be very careful here. We need to be very careful because this is what happens when he wants to come through, and especially Dakota's one and mine's. I can block him. But Dakota, do you want to add anything to this?
All I gotta say, yes, it is easy to get confusing, and some of the explanations that people are tossing over each other right now probably didn't help, but I fully believe that with everything that happens involving both ET and Spirit, we're probably going to have to rewrite the books on how we understand things altogether with whatever's coming happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can say this, right? I think we're in a time, the Earth's in a time where it's got one chance, and I think this is its last chance, because we should be using nuclear weapons. You see, nuclear weapons, they've been causing a lot of damage, right? They've been causing a lot of damage to the extraterrestrials for different dimensions. There's a certain extraterrestrial in question, and they do not like it when we use nuclear weapons. You look at the Roswell, for instance, like that, you know? Right, it was just after the nuclear bombs were detonated. The Earth is on its last chance. This is it. if we go down the route of what we've went before, because I think this is the fourth time the Earth's got to this technologically advanced state. If we continue down this road, right, they'll wipe the slate clean, and I don't think we'll be allowed to come back.
So Chris, can I ask why, if we've been down this path 4 times already, why would you think that this is the final path? Because, like, for example, I'm a farmer, and I'm a permaculture farmer, and I've had really crappy land. And over the course of 15 years, I was able to transfer the really crappy land into beautiful land. As long as some humans exist that want to make things better, then we can fix, because Mother Nature is extremely powerful, we can fix any damage that occurs. It might take us a long time to fix that damage, but we don't have the being able to blow up the planet with nuclear weapons is a fantasy. That's a military industrial fantasy that they use to scare us. Now, can we do damage? Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Can do damage. Look at all of the disasters that are going on in this world, and all of the things that are going on in this planet and stuff at the minute. Like, this world is been damaged for a very, very long time, and there isn't anything in this world that's going to take tons and tons of damage and never have anything happen to it. Everything will come to an end in the end, because you can't just keep destroying.
You look. I see where you're coming from, right? I see where they tested the nuclear weapons and stuff like that. Life's coming back to that, right? But they tested, what was it? Where they tested the taser bomb, the biggest bomb ever built. Life's coming back, right? I see your point. Yeah, we could have a nuclear war. Yeah, it could vaporize quite a lot of humanity, and eventually humans, the world will come back, because nature always takes things back. Yeah. But I think they're afraid that we go down the road of a war-like race. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that we get into space. They're afraid that we go to other worlds and we start colonizing other worlds. And that is what they're afraid of. And they're also afraid of... I know detonating all the nuclear bombs in the world wouldn't probably destroy the Earth, right? But it would damage different realities, different dimensions where there is aliens that are living, where them doing this would kill millions and billions of them, and this is what they're afraid of. We go down the path. Yes, the Earthlings will probably be wiped out. Yes, we'll probably all die, but so will they. And that's what they're afraid of.
Can I just jump on, because I've got a 3% battery, and I think it's this is what I want to touch on, because it's in tune with what you're saying. So I watched a documentary, and it said when the US military started messing about with the atomic bomb, that was like the aliens woke up, the kids have found the matches here, right? And when they let that atomic bomb off, that's when we started seeing more sightings of the aliens. Now, the aliens have no interest in if we damaging each other. But if we are a potential threat to another civilization, which I believe nuclear power is, that could cause damage to other civilizations, that's when they're going to intervene. And I also seen a documentary where a couple of UFOs sort of diffused nuclear bombs. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's something regarding nuclear bombs that alien life don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put it this way, right? See the Roswell crash with aliens, right? The aliens that's in the ether have come out and said, basically, and this is ones that have contacted people, have come out and said there's different dimensions, and in these dimensions there's a certain type of alien, right? And I don't know how nuclear bombs work, right? I can how they're built and stuff like that, but I don't know how they work. And when, maybe Dakota can help me here, but when they're detonated, it does something to their reality. And if more of these weapons are detonated, they'll wipe this race out. Right? You see where I'm coming here? And this race is a peaceful race, and it's a highly advanced race. And they know if we use them, they've had it. Right? Dakota?
A lot of the concepts that Chris is trying to hint at are theoretical. They go into quantum physics. A lot that I know that quite a few people in this chat would likely not understand. But basically light particles are known to move through various different dimensions at base. And what they say with the Roswell crash in particular is that it disrupted the flow of how their engines worked, causing the crash.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that is coming out about what happened is that there was at least one survivor that they were able to talk to, and the beings that were recovered in the Roswell crash were children, basically.
Yes.
And that's what they realize. What a lot of people don't realize, it's a lot more complex, and nobody can physically process how the multiverse actually works. It's not just one dimension. You have us, then you have a dimension of the fluffy bunny people. Maybe you do, you never know. But it makes up several different parts. You have various different parallel realities to our own, all detonating that bomb about the same time. It's going to cause a rip. Yeah. Who knows what's going to come through that rip?
Yeah. If you detonated every nuclear weapon on this Earth right now, eventually the Earth would come back, trees start growing again, Earth would come back, right? But it would have done its damage, and by then it'll be too late. There you go.
Okay, so then what's the theory? Because let's say that North Korea does or doesn't. Most major countries have not detonated a nuclear bomb since 1998. We've had a treaty since then that we've chose to not practice using, even testing for any testing purposes as well. So what if, and I like to look at all angles, so I'm not saying that I believe this or don't believe this, but what if actually the aliens that we're saying are trying to protect us are actually holding us back from being able to achieve greatness? Because like Sherry said, some of the aliens live here on Earth, and maybe they are the warring factions. Because, there is folks, like there's plenty of wonderful humans that don't want to kill other humans, that want to beautify this planet, that want to do wonderful, great things. What if we have been infiltrated, and what we're seeing is just they're making us think that the planet's overpopulated because they want us to kill each other. They want us to think that a lot of this stuff is dangerous, so we don't research it more to be able to achieve our greatness, and maybe they're seeding us so that we can't reach this next level.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. They have been here for a long time. There are aliens here. It's true. Sherry knows it. Gordon knows it. They have been here. I'll hand you over the court.
I do want... Sorry, Dakota, carry on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I will say, and I will verify for any alien species, not all of them are out to be evil or to stop us. Some of them realise very much what we are doing to our planet and do care about our planet and do care what we're doing here, because it does affect them up there. And as I said, we are linked a lot more than you think to them. So every life matters. And obviously a lot of these civilians that you see from these other planets are very peaceful beings that want a peaceful life and want a good planet, and they want the other planets to be the same way. Yes, we've got evil, we've got bad that want to do the opposite and want to take over, like you're saying. Is it Finley? Firefly. Yeah, so like I understand where Firefly is coming from with that as well, like the negative side. Yeah, there are negative sides that want to stop us and want to do things, but there are also energies of that side that do want to help and have been involved in all of this disaster that's happened, like these missiles that were sent off and these things that have happened that they've had to intervene with. So I'll let you go over to Dakota, because Dakota will be able to explain it a lot better, but they're not all dangerous.
Like you said before, there are some good people who truly do want to try to make this world a better place. And it's not much different. What I found is that with people that tend to try to assume that the aliens are bad, they may have had some sort of tendencies to show prejudice towards people for no reason. It's what I try to tell people is that if you try anything if you happen to be in contact or try anything or try to research it, don't try to alienate it so far, try to think of it as people who come from another country. And there was an incident we did kind of hint at earlier where with a previous company that we all worked at before, it was, actually we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of it. Can you believe that? My God.
It's a long time.
Where there was an entity that we all started researching that attacked us on one of these lives.
Oh.
Yes.
And let's just say the first guy that reported it, that something was going on, he started coughing up blood. Others were that they were feeling like they were being stabbed. They had these weird shadow entities. It's the entity that often known as the Hat Man. We were researching. Now, there's one of our theories was that the Hat Man may have some connection with ETs because some of the lore behind it. We trace it to Breton mythology, which was the Anku, but you can trace similar entities with just about any death gods in any culture. And with the Anku in particular, one of the origin bits in lore was that it was the firstborn son of Adam and Eve, Cain. Cain was also speculated in some bits of lore to not actually be Adam's biological son. Yes, I know I'm going into religion, but this is just part of the research part of it. And Cain's true father was actually the serpent, Samael, the only entity that was ever specifically named, called Satan in religious texts. Now, in some documents that are like guidebooks to ETs, Samael and the being known as Lilith were said to be Anunnaki king and queen. So that's where the ET connection came in. It goes further that there were several people who got hit specifically, noticed that there was beings that looked an awful lot like me showing up, potentially trying to help them get over it.
Yeah.
And that's where we may have determined that I may have hybrid children that do like to show up on these shows every now and then.
Oh, yes, they do.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the beings out there, allegedly they come, say like the Pleiades, for example. A lot of the focus on there, it said that because they are the closest genetically related to us. Now, there's people that say, must be like ants coming out of an anthill. Why would the ETs be interested in us? Well, allegedly some of them find this planet to be a very beautiful place. So why do certain people go to the Amazon rainforest to keep it from getting chopped down? They want to preserve that beauty, and there's a lot of benefits that the Amazon rainforest provides globally. Or they might see us as just dumb monkeys. Well, monkeys can be quite intelligent, and there's a lot that can be brought from it from that type of research. Well, all I'm saying is that there's a lot more to this than people are willing to look at.
Yeah.
So.
You got to remember, Tia, the governments of the world have done deals over the years with the Greys. I'll just say the names out, the Greys. They have done deals with them for technology and computer chips and weapons. But you've got to remember what the Greys have gave, I'll just say the US government, what they've gave them is thousands of years old to them. It's nothing, right? It's like going back in time and giving a caveman a musket, right? That's what they've went and done. Because they were doing genetic manipulation to people of Earth in return. You think about all the cattle mutilations and all the other kind of things that's been going on. That's them. But I think how can I say this? And I think Sherry and Dakota will probably agree with me here. We're in a part now where the Greys are not really in power anymore. The humans are starting to get help from beyond. Dakota? Jenna?
That's where a lot of the word coming through the ether is saying is that there's been talks of wars. There's a lot of people who do astral traveling say that when they've been in contact with these ETs, they see battle plans that a majority of the grays have been drawn out, but there's obviously still a few stragglers they need to track down.
Yeah.
Let's just say if everything does turn out to be true, and I do try to stick with the allegedly because I know these are exotic claims, but we're about to see a very big change. One of our colleagues firmly believes that by February 2nd, we might start seeing some real action of this year.
Yes.
So this is all super interesting. The one thing I am interested in is we know that the sun. Well, okay, we don't know, but let's just say we speculate based on the science that the sun is going through a new cycle. It's already changed in all of our lives. The sun's already changed color once. The light spectrum has changed, and they're saying that it's getting ready to change, probably within the next latest journals that just came out about end of last year. The sun's about to change a color again. And again, it's hard for us humans to be able to see the light color changes, but it does, on the light spectrum change a little bit. So, do you think that, this is related to something that they're doing? Is the sun just a natural cycle? And are we seeing if a coming, alien conflict, let's just say, is occurring? Is it because of something that's happening like very locally? Is it something that people's doing? Is it the universe ecosystem? Like I'm just kind of curious what you guys. What I like to do is I like to combine the stories that they don't tell us with the science that they do tell us, because the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
It's hard to say at this point. There's, like I said before, with everything that's coming, there's going to be so much that changes that everybody's going to have to relearn what they think is their understanding of when it comes to the supernatural as a whole.
Yeah. When we say about the world ending, we don't mean officially the world ending, but there's going to be a change to the way that the world is. There's going to be things that are going to happen, like Dakota said, that's going to be different. We're going to have to change the way that we look at life, the way that we live life. Obviously, you're saying about the sun and about the changes in its colour. And let's face it, the sun's a very old thing, okay? And it's endured a lot of what we do here and a lot of what they do up there, okay? So there are effects from all around. Okay, because everywhere is being affected. So all of these disasters, all of these things that happen in this world, there will be similar sort of things happening up there for them. Not saying like, there's the seas coming up to them and this is going on and that's going on, but where we have effects down here, there is effects going on up there. So this could very much manipulate the way that the sun is being affected, okay? And obviously, everybody that knows the sun and the moon is a very important source of energy for this planet and for a lot of other planets. Now, if you look at it, when you look at the planets, how many planets have got suns and moons around them and need them? That is very effective, okay? So, like, we're finding problems and stuff with our moon and our sun, things are happening. If that's happening here, that means that that's happening up there, okay? So, what we're experiencing here is what's experiencing there. And, like, this is why I believe that they're visiting as well, because we're all going through that same effect, but they know where that effect is coming from, because we are the ones that are disruptive. We are the ones doing stupid things. We are the ones that are not seeing the damages and the evil that we're doing to this world, okay? But there are some in this world that are open and spiritual, and that is the reason they come and connect with them and talk to them, because it's the best way for them to get through, which is why they will use individual people. Chris, would you like to carry on?
I was just going to say that the sun has got more than you know that's going on right now, especially with the ETs and stuff like that. The sun is, how can I say this so you can understand? There's more to do with the sun that's going on right now to do with the earth. Yes, it does have cycles. It does have cycles. But did you know that there was a planet behind the sun that cannot be seen? Did you know this?
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah,
Talking about Vulcan.
Well, different people have different terms. Yeah, Vulcan was actually a theoretical thing that we haven't been able to proven just yet, but we do feel the gravitational pull of something, because most solar systems in the universe are actually bisolar. So ours is very rare with only one visible sun. And so the Vulcan theory is very interesting. And with where we were talking about the Earth changes, because one thing I actually I fall in the category that I actually don't blame humans as much as other folks do. I actually think that we are tricked into seeing what the bad people are doing and thinking that the bad people are causing all these problems. Because if we also look, we can see the octagon on top of Neptune. So if you've never looked at Neptune through a telescope, you'll see on the top of Neptune there's an octagon, but that actually is changing shape. We have seen that in Jupiter. We've seen the eye of Jupiter has started to wobble a little bit. We are starting to see the increase of the cloud cover to our theoretical, the increase of the cloud cover in Venus. So we are seeing planetary changes at least everywhere through our own, through our solar system. And this is something that we've been discovering pretty recently. So something is happening in our neighborhood at least.
Your sun is unique. What's your thoughts, Firefly, on our sun? Would you say our sun was unique in this?
No. Our sun is interesting, but it's not unique. Now, I do want to add something. I do find we were talking about the Goldilocks and how Mars is in the Goldilocks range. We actually, as Earth, are not actually in the Goldilocks range. The Goldilocks range would be between the Earth and Mars, where Sirius is, where the that meteor that exists. We are just on the inside of that, and part of the speculation is because of our protective atmosphere and because of the heat that is generated from the inside of Earth is the reason why we have the ability to inhabit this planet.
Yeah. Very true.
Well, Dakota, we've got about 5 minutes left of the show. What would you like to talk about?
No, I'll just gotta admit, this was a pretty good turnout tonight.
Yeah, it was.
It was interesting.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for allowing me to come in and ask some questions. I learned a lot, and I really enjoyed it.
We'll need to have you on as a guest one night.
Well, yeah. I'd be down for that.
Yeah. I think that'd be interesting, having him up for an interview.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to be, obviously, we've got the show on Friday night with Sherry and Drew, the Lost Magics. Then we've got Saturday night, and then we're moving this show from a Wednesday night to Sunday night. But we're also working on another show, believe it or not, Sherry, we're working on another show which will be out soon. So, Dakota, would you like to say anything before we go?
Yes, that's very true. Well, do have one little poster for everyone here. The ladies for the Lost Magics will be doing tarot card readings. There's a price towards the bottom there. Hopefully it's accurate enough for the fact that we're bouncing between UK and US.
Yeah.
Well, be sure to tune into that. And you want to get yourself a reading, there's going to be a PayPal link in the description. I'll be there to help monitor, so make sure that everybody joins in on that. Yes. And hopefully Sherry doesn't set anything on fire.
Oh, well, like I did the other day on the Yeah.
I missed that one.
So everybody, now that, So, thank Dubs, Sherry, Firefly, thank you for coming. How will we contact you? You on Facebook, Firefly? Or can we contact you that way? Maybe get you on as a guest one night?
X Dr. Firefly on anything that's in social media is mine. So
all right.
I wanted to welcome you guys. I discovered you guys on DLive, so I'm a very active user on DLive, and I'm very happy to see new and great content coming to DLive. So very, very excited to see that you guys came here, and thank you again for having me as popping in, and I'll be more than happy to be a guest in the future. And again, welcome, thank you, and all the great
Oh,
Oh,
stuff.
yes. The good thing I actually started monitoring the chat for D Live. I started noticing when we're missing out on some people. Ugh.
Yeah.
See, I tell you, D Live would be a good place. I told you D Live would be a good place to go, Dakota. See,
We've been streaming there for a while now.
Yeah, I've been on D Live for 2.5 years, and it's just one of those things. Once you find the right niche, I will say the one advice I have is nothing that you're talking about should be M-tagged. So you guys do not need the M-tag. What that does is that stops you from being on the carousel. So.
Gotcha. All right, we'll go in and fix that later.
right. Right, everybody,
All right.
thank you for coming, and I hope you'll enjoy Lost Magics on Friday with Sherry
Join
and
us.
Rue.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.